Ever been tempted by that shiny new Mercedes or thought about trading in your reliable ride for a flashy upgrade? Before you do, hold up. These cars might look like dream machines, but they could turn into your worst nightmare. From luxury traps to ticking time bombs, we're about to dive into 10 cars that could drain your wallet faster than you can say buyer's remorse. Stick around. This is one list you don't want to miss. 1. 2023 Mercedes-Benz GS. Let's start with the 2023 Mercedes-Benz GS, a luxury sedan that oozes style and sophistication. But before you get too excited, there's something you need to know. While Mercedes-Benz cars are known for their cutting-edge technology and luxurious interiors, they can become a nightmare as they age. The initial allure of driving a status symbol can quickly fade when you're faced with endless repair bills. As these cars get older, they turn into money pits, with maintenance and repair costs that can skyrocket. The truth is, the modern Mercedes isn't built like it used to be. Many owners find themselves paying top dollar for features that don't stand the test of time. The electronics in particular are known to fail, leading to expensive fixes that often aren't covered under warranty. If you're dead set on owning a Mercedes, make sure it's a model made in Germany. These tend to be more reliable than those produced elsewhere. But unless you have an endless supply of cash, it might be wise to steer clear of this luxury sedan. 2. 1993 Ford F-150. With 93,000 miles next up, we have the 1993 Ford F-150, a truck that's a classic American favorite. If you've never changed the transmission fluid on your F-150, you might be tempted to do a full flush. But hold on! Flushing the transmission can do more harm than good, especially on an older vehicle. The process can dislodge dirt and debris that can then clog up vital parts of the transmission, leading to major issues. The only time a flush might be worth it is if the transmission is already on its last legs, shaking, slipping, or not working properly. In that case, you might have nothing to lose. But for a truck that's still running fine, it's best to stick with a simple fluid and filter change. Avoid the flush, and you'll likely avoid a lot of headaches. 3. 2013 Toyota Prius C. The 2013 Toyota Prius C is another vehicle that often catches the eye of those looking for an economical and environmentally friendly car. And while the Prius C is one of the best hybrids out there, you have to remember that it's now over a decade old. The biggest concern with any older hybrid is the battery. These batteries have a limited lifespan, and replacing them isn't cheap. Beyond the battery, other components like the electric motor and generator can also be costly to fix. If any of these fail, you could be looking at a repair bill that's more than the car is worth. On the flip side, if you can find a used Prius C for a rock-bottom price, it might be worth the gamble. Just go into it with your eyes open. Know that you could be in for some hefty repair bills down the road. 4. Electric Mini Cooper. If you're considering the electric Mini Cooper, you're probably drawn to its quirky style and compact size, perfect for city driving. But there are some downsides you should be aware of. Like the Fiat 500 Electric, the Mini is great for short trips around town, but not ideal for long distances. And while Mini Coopers are generally better built than their Italian counterparts, they still come with their share of potential problems. One major concern with any electric car, especially one as small as the Mini, is range anxiety. If you're planning on using this car for anything beyond city driving, you might find yourself in a tough spot when it comes time to recharge. Plus, Mini is owned by BMW, and BMWs are known for their expensive repair costs. If something goes wrong with the electric system, be prepared for a potentially hefty bill. That said, if you only need a small car for short city commutes, the electric Mini Cooper might be worth considering, but know its limitations. 5. 2004 GMC Envoy warning chime issue. Let's talk about the 2004 GMC Envoy. If you've got one of these SUVs and you're being driven nuts by a warning chime that sounds off every few seconds, you're not alone. This is a common issue with older vehicles, and it can be incredibly frustrating. The good news is, if your Envoy is running fine and there are no warning lights on the dash, you might be able to simply unplug the chime. However, before you do that, it's crucial to make sure there's nothing seriously wrong with the car. Sometimes these chimes are a sign that something needs attention. If you're not confident in diagnosing the issue yourself, take it to a mechanic and have them check it out with a scan tool. If everything checks out, then go ahead and unplug the chime. Just be sure you're not ignoring a bigger problem. 6. Late 90s. Acura Integra as a first car. The Acura Integra from the late 90s is a car that has a bit of a cult following, especially among car enthusiasts. But if you're considering one as your first car, you might want to think twice. While these were great cars back in the day, we're now talking about vehicles that are over 25 years old. Everything from the transmission to the rubber seals could be on its last legs. Unless you're a mechanic or have one in the family, owning a car this old can be a constant battle. Parts will wear out and repairs will be frequent. I had a customer who bought a late 90s Integra as their first car, and they quickly regretted it. The AC kept breaking, the seals were leaking, and the transmission started having issues. If you're not prepared to deal with these kinds of problems, it's probably better to look for something newer. 7. 1994 Land Cruiser Diesel. Now let's discuss the 1994 Land Cruiser Diesel. This vehicle has a reputation for being one of the most rugged and reliable SUVs ever made, and for good reason. Diesel engines in general are built to last, and this Land Cruiser is no exception. If you have one of these with low mileage, say around 110,000 kilometers, it could be a great daily driver. Diesel engines are known for their longevity, and many can go well over 1,000,000 miles before needing major work. However, it's essential to remember that parts for older diesel vehicles can be expensive and sometimes hard to find. If you're prepared for the occasional repair and you drive a reasonable amount each year, the 1994 Land Cruiser Diesel can serve you well for a long time. 8. 2000 Lincoln Town Car. The 2000 Lincoln Town Car is another classic vehicle that can still be a great buy if you know what you're getting into. These cars are built like tanks, with solid frames and a reputation for longevity. If you find one with 157,000 miles on it for under $3,000, it could be a steal. However, there are a few things you need to check before handing over your money. First, make sure the car hasn't been exposed to rust, especially if you're in a northern state where salt is used on the roads in winter. Rust can be a death sentence for a car like this. Take a hammer and gently tap the frame to see if it's solid. If it sounds good and the engine and transmission are in decent shape, this car could last you many more years. Just be sure to have it thoroughly checked out by a mechanic before you buy. 9. 2011 Toyota Camry LE versus 2009. Lexus is $250. Here's a comparison that might surprise you. The 2011 Toyota Camry LE versus the 2009 Lexus is $250. If you're thinking about trading in your Camry for the Lexus, you might want to reconsider. The 2011 Camry LE is one of the most reliable cars ever made. It's a car that, with proper maintenance, can run forever. On the other hand, the 2009 Lexus is $250, while a great car in its own right comes with more potential risks. You never know how a used car was treated by its previous owner. I've seen customers buy used Lexuses only to discover later that they have major issues like oil-burning engines or other costly repairs. With the Camry, you know what you're getting, a dependable car that you're already familiar with. In this case, it's better to stick with the devil you know than the one you don't. 10. 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Finally, let's talk about the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. This is a beast of a vehicle with a 392 cubic inch V8 engine, and it comes with a price tag to match, around $120,000. While it's a cool vehicle with plenty of power, the question is it worth that kind of money? For most people, the answer is no. There's no doubt that the Rubicon 392 is a capable off-road vehicle, but $120,000 is a lot to spend on a Jeep. You could get a lot more for your money with other vehicles, even within the Jeep lineup. Unless you have money to burn and you're set on having the biggest, baddest Jeep out there, it's hard to justify the cost. The V8 engine is solid and it's likely to last a long time, but the high price tag for what is essentially a niche vehicle makes it a questionable investment. For those who plan to use it as a daily driver, the Rubicon 392 might also be overkill. The fuel economy is poor, and the ride quality on city streets isn't exactly smooth. Plus, the maintenance costs on a vehicle like this can add up quickly, especially if you're taking it off-road regularly. If you're a hardcore Jeep enthusiast and have the budget, go for it. But for the average buyer, there are much more practical and cost-effective options out there. There you have it, 10 popular cars that might look great but could end up being more trouble than they're worth. Whether it's sky-high maintenance costs, reliability issues, or hidden pitfalls, these vehicles can quickly turn from dream rides into expensive regrets. Before you make your next move, take a step back and consider if the thrill is really worth the risk. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more straight-up car advice.